rand hit one-week lows at 7.13, with further losses coming through this morning and even more being anticipated for the rest of the week. What's your outlook for the local unit given the current global economic scenario?
Well, if you look at yesterday, there were very thin trading conditions in the back of the US holiday that we saw, but the rand continued to weaken on the back of the risk-off environment and broad-based dollar strength. We also saw the Euro PMI data coming out yesterday, much weaker than expected, which really saw a scurry for risky assets. Well, not risky assets. We saw risk aversion yesterday. And we also saw a sell-off of the euro yesterday. Yeah. We do expect risk aversion to continue today, even as participants expect some dovish comments coming out of the ECB and the BoE, even as authorities try to stem that risk aversion. We do expect the rand to possibly target 7.17 after it had breached the 7.9 to the top side. And if we do see a breach of 7.17, we could. It is plausible that we could see a move towards 7.30 during the course of this week.
And of course, the alarm bells we can hear ringing over at Standard Bank, not on account of the risk aversion that's currently out there, but a fire drill that Standard Bank's currently running with. So, Shireen, thanks so much for being so dedicated and standing there despite it all. Let's carry on with this discussion. We've got investors, of course, as you say, wary to pile into risky assets ahead of the ECB and BoE meetings. What are you exactly anticipating out of those meetings this week?
Well, we don't expect much change from what we have seen. As I mentioned, some dovish statements coming through, but we don't see any rate moves at this point. We could possibly, however, see some comments coming through from President Obama with regards to fiscal stimulus. But as far as that is concerned, I think there's going to be a general risk aversion during the rest of this week. And if we see continued deterioration in the global data coming out of the US and the ECB GDP data coming out later today, we could see that risk aversion continue and provide additional pressure during the course of the day.
Just illustrating the kind of risk aversion that is out there, we saw yesterday Nigeria's central bank saying that it plans to diversify its $33 billion in foreign exchange reserves away from the dollar by switching a tenth of it into stockpiling the yuan. What are you making of that strategy, and do you see that diversification strategy becoming more so of a trend moving forward?
I don't think we should really jump to any sort of conclusions at this point. I think it's really, the Nigerian move was really on the back of the fact that they have very close, tight investor relations with China. So it could possibly have been because they want to keep those relationships going. We also have to consider that Nigeria's main export is oil. And they're going to continue denominating that in US dollars. So it may not just be a diversification move, but it may have been a strategic move towards keeping those investor relations with China going.